Someone once asked me why I became a feminist. A man once had the nerve to ask me why I was a feminist, as if it was outrageous to think I had rights, as if centuries of oppression weren't enough to make a girl stand up and fight, as if my struggle wasn't obvious. I wanted to tell him to look at his mother, to count the scars he left on her insides and try to recall if he's ever thanked her that many times. I wanted to tell him to think of his daughter, and how he tells her to come straight home after school, how he tells her to be safe, to be careful, and his son, how he lets him stay out and play. I wanted to show him my scars, but I've had my pain be the punchline before, and I wasn't in the mood to be someone's joke, so I said nothing. Afterward, I realized that I didn't choose to be a feminist. I didn't pick up this mantle just to have something to say. I didn't pick up this mantle at all. It just happened. Slowly, unconsciously, through sips of coffee and averted eyes, through no's that mean yes, I mean no, subtly, without my permission, like hands creeping up skirts out of nowhere. I guess it must have happened when a man followed me home when I couldn't escape his shadow after that. Or when an interviewer made an inappropriate joke about my virginity and I needed the job too much to say anything about it. Or when a 12-year-old boy grabbed my ass and I wondered for a second if I should tell him to stop. More concerned about his feelings than my dignity, I guess it must have happened after the second time I was almost raped. Or the months I played the side chick because my refusals weren't assertive enough, or maybe every single day when I'm considered a bitch for not responding to catcalls on the street. From almost every man I meet for exercising my right not to talk to them. My rights as a woman, my rights as a person. I still have those, right? I'm a feminist because I believe that I do, and I'm a feminist because there are people who believe that I don't. And I guess I want to prove them wrong. I'm a feminist for every little girl who has grown up believing that the only way to make it is to sell her body and her soul, never knowing that she will never profit from it. I'm a feminist for all the women out there who could have changed the world, but they were sidetracked and are now nothing more than hollow shells, no brain or heart to speak of, because their womanhood dripped out of their noses every time they bowed down in submission, lost the art of self-expression. And what's a woman without a voice? What's a person without a choice? Or free will ain't the only thing that's been taken from us. I'm a feminist for the girl I was in every one of those situations. The girl who didn't answer when asked why because she was too scared. But here's what I should have said. As a man, you may not get it. You may not understand, and you may even disagree, but you've never had to walk into a crowded room and shiver because the guy whose eyes are following you looks just crazy enough to follow through on his sick fantasies. You've never had to feel naked while fully clothed and wonder if tonight was the night that someone would claim you as their own. Having your virginity and dignity ripped away from you, then ironically being sued because you didn't tell your attacker you had AIDS. You've never had your insides ripped apart, giving birth to children you didn't want because the law wields its hand over you. My body is not my own because apparently I need permission to get my own tubes tied, have to spend the next 18 years supporting 2 lives because the circumstances of my impregnation were irrelevant to you. You've never had your achievements swept under the rug because you had a pretty face and that's what society is more interested in. Never been told that you needed a man's approval and that loving yourself was a sin. You've never had to watch your mother bend and break under the iron fist of a man. Be trained to endure the same one day for hope of a better life. Be someone's wife, never a person in your own right. You've never... Have you ever waited for the weight to be lifted by the one who claims he's there to help you? Waited, realized belatedly that it was his hand on your back pushing you down the entire time. That his macho man persona couldn't have lifted a dime, that the family was built on your backbone, your spine. I know you haven't, so don't disagree just yet. Listen to me. I bet that you know someone who knows someone who's been through this. We're all connected by the same pains. It's like our fallopian tubes extend far beyond our ovaries and we feel each other's hurts, growing communal cysts of all the wrongs that have been done to us and birthing resilience generation after generation. The truth is, this didn't start with me. I'm not a pioneer. I didn't fight for voting rights. I didn't birth the first child or suffer the first rape, but I was born into this legacy. I am a woman, and in a world where that makes me a target, in a world where that makes me weak, I have no choice but to fight. I have no choice but to speak, to use my words to inspire change, to rearrange society's view of me, to tell my story. I have no choice but to shatter glass ceilings and achieve more than anyone expects and be the best that I can be. It is my destiny. So I didn't choose to be a feminist. It was a burden I did not pick, but I will bear it gladly. After all, I've been female all my life. If I don't fight for me, who will?